Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. We are now in episode 3, and just like in episode 2, I forgot to read this nice introductory text, which is very disappointing that I forgot again. You'd think I would learn, but no. No, we got started with the brand new episode here, episode 3. We saw a little bit of the past, I think. I think that's what popped up for the prologue. And then we were on the boat. We're already heading to the island, getting ready for the conference. It's going to be great. It's going to go down, hopefully crazier than last time. I'm going to be more confused than last time, which is a good thing and maybe a bad thing. Either way, let's read this little bit of lovely cursive text and see what we got going on here. Actually, yeah, there's actually names for these episodes. I never realized. So episode 1 was Legend of the Golden Witch, which is fair, yeah. Turn of the Golden Witch. Okay. Now we've got the banquet. The banquet of which we did hear about at the end of the previous episode. That's kind of where we ended off. Good morning. It's 9 in the evening. This is a surprise that even now you do not surrender. The Golden Witch has exceedingly high expectations of you. Guys, we're so fucked. Have you perhaps also come to realize the structure of this world? No. I kind of get a pattern of what we have going on now, that it's a little bit of a game, that we have the spectators of Beatrice and Battler as a whole new story kind of unravels with bits of new information, but past that, I think it's just the simple case of what we see we should not fully believe. There can be no victory without knowing the rules. Please enjoy a hearty game with the witch. The difficulty level is fair. Fair for you and fair for the witch. That's bullshit. What was the difficulty in the last one? First rate, the witch plans to make you surrender in an instant. Okay, yeah. And the difficulty level in episode 1 was standard, just to begin everything. I wonder, will things actually be a little bit fairer in this one? I doubt it. Why did I click that? I need to load the game, not start the game again. Sorry, guys. It's 9 in the evening. Actually. Oh, we can jump. No, go back. Please just go back. Let me load the game. Yeah, it's 9 in the evening, guys. It's too late for me. Ignore the recording sessions I've done at like midnight or like 1 in the morning. Just, you know, small mishap. Also, I think we are back in time. We're doing another glance at the past here, except this one's a little bit more obvious. We've got the lovely tint. And I think we are following Ava, maybe? I don't know what we got going on here. Since you can still drink black tea without sugar, he was in effect saying that there was no need for women to study. Those infuriating words were what Nissan hurled at me in my despair when I asked to go to college only to be denied by father. I protested that I needed to build up proper dignity and an education as the oldest daughter in the Ushiromiya family, making college an essential next step. I think where we left off in the previous video was that Hideyoshi and Rudolph, they were talking about how there's a little bit of not a whole lot of fairness with gender here in the family. But when it came down to it, father's and Nissan's answers were exactly the same. How conceited for a woman. I've never taken the Ushiromiya name lightly, not once since I was born into it. And I've been even more careful not to take my father's name, Ushiromiya Kinzo, lightly. Our family is an old one, with many traditions, but it lost its wealth in business in the Great Kanto earthquake, pushing it to the brink at one point. That was when father took control with his ingenious talent, reviving it to be even greater than it had been before. Not once did I forget that I was the daughter of that great Ushiromiya Kinzo. Yeah, he's great, all right. Great and a little senile. That's why I always made every effort to become worthy of that name. I needed dignity worthy of the Ushiromiya family. Schooling, manners, and leadership. Even if I couldn't quite reach father's level, I deepened my knowledge in economics and finance, trying to improve myself so I could be of use to him at any time. However, in the end, father never acknowledged my efforts. To father a woman was only meant to support a man, and nothing further than that was permissible. When was it that I came to understand that? It may have been as early as my childhood years, but I was going to have to wait until I grew up before I could truly accept it. I think she ended up playing her cards right from the bits and pieces that we've gathered so far. Compared to me, you couldn't have said that Kraus, my older brother of 2 years, worked hard at all to become deserving of the Ushiromiya family name. No, he's just in the prime position. He told me many times since my early childhood that he would naturally succeed father simply because he was born a man. He kept on repeating that as though it formed an uncrossable gap between us. I couldn't stand it. Even though I always got better grades than Nissan, even though I became class president when he never managed more than vice president, even so, Nissan was considered to be the appropriate successor of the Ushiromiya family just because he was a man, excuse me. Of course, you could find gender discrimination everywhere in those days. Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know what year we're at now, but I mean, we're going back a few decades, or at least a couple. So no, it's been tough, especially in the 1900s in general, and obviously before then. And it only got better in many places in the world as we got into the 2000s, but still, there is a lot of discrimination in a lot of ways, especially gender still to this day in a lot of areas. Of course, you could find gender discrimination everywhere in those days. No, it was even considered a virtue in that era. During that despicable time, people said that when a woman is born, she obeys her parents. When she gets married, she obeys her husband, and when she gets old, she obeys her children. But that was exactly why I wanted to turn that on its head. Innocently, I kept trying to prove that I was the most fit. However, I eventually realized that all of my efforts had been doomed from the beginning.
女の学力は紅茶の砂糖にも似ていると思わないかね。
I guess that's how we got to this point.
ないのも味気ないが、過ぎれば紅茶の味わいを大いに損なう。
それはどういう意味よ、兄さん。
Ooh, I like this. I like this imagery.
男には男にしか務められないことがあるように、女とて女にしか務められないことがあるんじゃないかね。子を産み育て、一家の主を支えるのは、女でなければできぬ務めだと思うがね。
女には勉強や仕事をする必要がないと言いたいの？
そこまでは言わんよ。無学な女など話していても疲れるだけだ。だが、あまり頭が良すぎる女はもっと疲れる。
Oh no, no, Kraus, you would get canceled if you said these things today.
未来の夫もさぞや苦労すると思うのだがね。
女は結婚して夫の陰にいろとそう言いたいの？余計なお世話よ。
お前が親父殿を尊敬していて、その娘としてふさわしくありたいと思う気持ちは、私にも尊敬できることだ。
気持ち悪い。何が私よ。
Yeah, he's just trying to make her feel better.
この間まで俺だったくせに。もう当主気取りなの？
当主は私が継ぐことに最初から決まっている。にもかかわらず、お前は自分も当主になれるかのように錯覚して、無駄かつ暴走した努力をしているに過ぎんのだよ。
Hey, she was actually in the prime position in episode 1.
暴走した努力ですって。私が大学院に進みたいと言い出すのがそんなにもおかしいっていうの？
ああ、おかしいね。お前は確かに栄光ある後宮家の長女だよ。やがてはその家紋を背負って父にとって最も価値ある相手と婚約することになるだろう。だがそこで求められるのは過剰な学識ではない。夫をいたわる優しい気持ちと家事能力、そして一家の長を立てる控えめな態度だ。
Yeah, I don't know about all this here, Kraus.
お前にはそれが完全に欠落している。
No, I feel...
それは後ろ宮家の令嬢として
I feel, you know...
果たしてふさわしいことなのかね。
I don't know how I want to feel. I don't know what I want to say here. You know, I do still see a lot of things that are said in very similar ways on like Twitter and shit. I guess where, like, you know, you can hide behind the computer screen and say whatever the fuck you want. But no, a lot of people still do feel in a very similar way to Krauss that, you know, women do not need to go to school, but they need to excel in, like, housework, like Krauss is saying, and knowing how to raise a family. And it's like, no.
私は真相の令状のつもりなんか
Women
ないわ
are
よ。
human. We're all human. We can all
お
accomplish
父
the
様
same
の仕
things
事を手
here.
伝ってあげられる最高の人間でありたいと思っただけよ。
ならそれは後宮家令嬢としてふさわしくあるべきではないのかね。お前と来たらなんだね。いい年をして未だに男勝りで、家事炊事はおろか、男を喜ばせる化粧一つ身につけていないじゃないか。
That's not her goals.
最近は喧嘩の稽古までしてるというじゃないかね。
失礼な。喧嘩じゃないわよ。武道は心の修練に最適なのよ。それに叱るべき場に出るときは十分女として気を使ってるわよ。
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, she's working out. Like, a person who works out is actually really
何
good.
が言いたいのよ。女は男に仕える奴隷であれと、しゃしゃり出るなと、そう言いたいわけ？
それを認めるのはエレガントではないが、
No, it's elegant to think it,
お前
apparently.
の勘違いを正すには少々毒のある言葉も必要かと思うよ。だから言い切ろう。女は男に仕えるために存在
Oh
する。
no, Krauss again.
そして男は
You would
女
be
を養うため
canceled.
に存在する。
Big cancel.
女の仕事は男の背中を守り、家庭を守って子を育てることだ。
You know, growing up and everything, I truly do believe in fairness for everybody. Just straight up, 100%. But I do believe that it's the job of a man and a woman or partners of whatever your gender being together to work together to have each other's back to protect each other's home that they live in together and to raise their children together. Like it's a two-person thing here, you know?
それは本来
It's not just
言
the
葉で
woman's
気づかされ
job.
ることではない。おのずと気づくことだ。しかしお前はいくつになってもそれを自覚しなかったな。だから社会に出る前に兄である私がその誤解を解くのだよ。
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, she isn't necessarily
感
leaving
謝
this
して
family.
ほしいものだね。
Again, she
それは
she
全
ends
て
up
の
playing
女
her
への侮
cards
辱
pretty
よ。
good here.
いえ、私は自分のことを女だと思ったことなどないし、女だからと甘えたことなど一度もない。私のどこが兄さんに劣っているというの？成績も経歴も何もかも私の方が勝っていて、ただ男である以上の何も持たない兄さんが私の何を見下せるっていうのよ。
It's literally just that same thing. Like, it's just that one thing right there. It's a gender difference. And to Krauss, he thinks that means the world.
身の程をわきまえているか否かだよ。私は次の当主としての心構えを日々養っている。それは将来必ず必要になることだ。だがお前は違う。突に後宮の席を失うことが決まっているくせに、見る必要のない
Again,
幻を
spoiler
見てい
alert.
る。
Sorry, Krauss, that isn't necessarily going down.
何がそんなに不満なんだ。仮に男に生まれようとも、当主を継ぐのはお前ではないだろうに。お前は何がそんなにも不満で私に突っかかってくるのか。
何が不満かですって？兄さんはいつも自分は当主後継ぎだからと私を見下して、そのくせ
I hate to say it, gamers, but for the first time ever, I am kind of siding with Ava here. I think we all would. Makes the most sense. What's my complaint, you say? I've got a billion of them. Grudges, hard feelings, humiliations that I'll never forget, kept floating through the back of my mind. They all built up at the same time, coming out of my throat as a shameful moan.
何事か想像し
I love this this imagery here for the past.
沈黙を尊ぶのは神だけではないぞ。
お父さん。
お父様。
He'd probably overheard our sibling fight. Father entered with a clearly unhappy face.
クラウス、また兄弟喧嘩か。 お前にはなぜに弟や妹たちを率いる貫禄が宿らぬのか。情けない。長男が聞いては切れるぞ。
In a flash, he struck Krause's face. This is actually kind of the first time that we're really, I guess, seeing any of this or hearing of, or I guess everything's coming together in front of us, I guess you could say. We've heard that, Kinzo can be pretty violent. And, well, here it is. It's right in front of our face. I readied myself to be struck in the same way, but I wasn't hit.
申し訳ありません、お父さん。
お前に足りぬのは貫禄だけではない。まだまだ足りぬ。何もかもが未熟だ。
Yeah.
にもかかわらず一人前を気取っておる。それを語るには100年早いことを肝に銘じ、研鑽に努めよ。わしをこれ以上息子の不出来で嘆かせるでないぞ。
はい、お父さんの後を継ぐにふさわしい人間になれるよう、さらに努力します。
It was as if those words were directed at me. Even when he was being yelled at by father, he was still bragging to me about how he was special, about how he was the successor. Honestly, with the snap of Kinzo's fingers, he could turn that around. He could say fuck it to this whole order and shift everything up. He technically could have given her, Ava, a proper opportunity here. I just couldn't stand it and finally spoke what was on my mind. Even though I realized that it would be improper for a member of the Ushiromiya family to do such a thing.
お父様、教えてください。私の何が劣っているというのですか？
You're gonna get a very clear answer here, and it's very, very unfortunate.
私はお父様の名に恥じない人間になれるよう、今日まであらゆる勉強と努力を重ねてまいりました。どうか私にも何が劣っているのかお教えください。私はこれ以上何を身につけたならお父様に認めていただけるのですか？
またその話か。
Again.
お前には何度言えばわかるのだ。お前に期待していることなど何もない。
Ouch.
女は女らしく料理や裁縫を学んでおればいい。貴様には女の心構えがないのだ。夫に仕えようとする気心が男に尽くそうという海外しさが全く感じられぬ。何のための女なのか。後ろ宮家の令嬢であることを自覚しておるのか。なのに学びたがることは男の真似事ばかり。お前の役割はクラウスの真似事ではないのだぞ。
Ooh, that's an interesting line.
お前には自らの役割が分かっているのか。
私は後ろ宮家の人間としてお父様。
その時点でもう間違っておるわ。貴様の役割は家を出て嫁ぎ、わしにとって有益な男を連れてくることだ。そして夫に尽くし子を産み増やせ。夫の一族に褒めたたえられる良妻であれ。お前に男を喜ばせる何ができるというのか。
The thing is that this is, I'm sure, all very common. I feel like I've talked about this before as well. Whenever, I think it was back in episode 1 when we got a little bit of a bit of monologue from Kumasawa. But yeah, a lot of families, a lot of very rich, noble families, you hear about it in stories, but I'm sure it even happens today, that really the goal is connections. And if you have a daughter, you basically just got that sort of connection ready to go to another noble, high-ranking family or rich family of some sort. And really that's the goal. You want those ties.
茶の作法があるというのか。料理の才能があるというのか。
It's not fair, and I don't agree with it, like,
お前がや
whatsoever.
っているのはみんなクラウスの真似事ばかりではないか。後ろ宮家はクラウスが継ぐ。お前がそれに不満を唱えるというのなら、それはこの私に逆らうということだ。お前は我が娘でありながら父の言うことを聞けぬというのか。出て行け。感動だ。
Damn.
お前に後ろ宮など語らせん。
Just like that.
感動だ、感動だ。
And then Kinzo starts dying. As per
お父さ
usual.
ん、しっかり落ち着いてください。源氏さん、水を持ってきてもらえますか。はい、ただいま。エヴァ、席を外せ。本心ではないさ。私がなだめておく。
He's gonna try and cough up enough so that he can say, no, I mean it. Yep, there it is.
私の言うことが危険なら感動
Yeah,
だ
fuck you, Kraus. I mean that shit. Father was coughing pretty badly, and Nissan patted his back, and as if it was a duty that was naturally his. It was so vexing for me to let him take that duty all for himself right then. If I carelessly approached Father at that moment, then I would probably be the one to get hit next. However, I fearlessly tried to approach Father's back. Genji blocked me.
エヴァ様、今は席をお外しになられた方が良いでしょう。親方様は今日はご機嫌がよくありません。
Is he ever in a good mood? Like, ever? Serious question?
なぜに私の息子たちはこうも不出来なのか。クラウスは貫禄が足りず、エヴァはいつまで経ってもじゃじゃ馬だ。男らしい男はおらず、女らしい女もいない。私の育て方がいつどこでどう間違ったのか。
Damn, now he's beating
なぜだ
himself up.
源氏。私は何をいつどこでどう間違えたというのか。
親方様は何もお間違いになってはおりません。クラウス様はたくましいご子息に、エヴァ様は麗しいご令嬢に成長されました。何もお間違いにはなっておりません。
あれのどこが麗しいというのか。淑女どころか男の真似事ばかり。
I don't know if, like, okay, so from what I'm getting here is that she's wanted to stray away from the idea that she has to just marry out, know how to cook, know how to sew, know how to do housework, basically anything that a man that she's going to marry would want, and that's and to give birth to who knows how many kids. So she's straying off that path, which is just the path of studying, going to school, working out, just trying to do what she thinks is best as just a person. Does that make her a tomboy? I don't think so. But the thing is that her older sibling and her younger sibling, in between two boys, so she's going to, you know, probably get some traits from them that are probably a little bit more on the masculine side. But other than that, I don't think that makes you a full-on tomboy. But here, in this time, and with Kinzo's wacky-ass mindset, you know, he's going to think otherwise. He's going to think that she's a failure because she's not going in that one true direction. And then there's that.
お父さん、それは私からよくエヴァに言い聞かせたところです。エヴァもこれからは心を入れ替えてレディーとして振る舞うと約束してくれました。どうかもう少しの猶予をいただけませんか。
何がレディーだ。
Homie is just straight up dying.
感動だ。
Go quickly and leave this to me. Kraus gave me a look telling me that. I mean, yeah, he's kind of being helpful in the situation, but this just sucks, man. That does suck. You gotta love it. You gotta love the level of storytelling that takes place in the When They Cry series to make somebody that, you know, initially you kind of grow to dislike heavily or just straight up hate. I'm probably on the latter. But then to give you some form of sympathy. And yeah, I definitely feel bad. I feel bad for her situation. Honestly, this whole family is fucked. We can all agree with that. Episode 1 taught us that. But no, that's a rough situation. Did I take the wrong path, just like Father and Nissan said? True, I never studied how to be a lady. Everything I've learned was done in the hopes that I could help Father someday. But is that really true? Haven't I always been trying to compete with Nissan, with whom I've had a bad relationship since I was a young girl? Because I wanted to steal his position as successor and show him a thing or two? I mean, that's just a... You know, siblings are like that, you know? They're always trying to be better than the other. Every chance he gets, Nissan tells me that men should be manly and women should be womanly. I've been tormented by this unfair discrimination just because of my gender, something people are born with and can't do anything about. I resisted, endeavoring to this very day to study and prove that I'm not inferior despite being a woman. But doesn't that mean my love of learning comes entirely from a stupid complex I've got against Nissan? Yeah, I can kind of relate. I mean, you know, rivalry or goals or whatever. I mean, at least you've got something going on that's pushing you. It might be a little unhealthy, sure, but, you know, at least you got something. Father wanted me to become a lady with whom he could go out in public and not be embarrassed. Did I betray his hopes? Earning good grades and what the fuck? Treating Nissan? What is that supposed to say? Threatening Nissan just to satisfy a childhood resentment? I don't know if that... Is that a real word? Am I fucking stupid? Am I having one of my moments again? Sorry, that dumbfounded me for a moment. Is this our... Is this... Who is this? Is this a younger version of Ava here? The one whispering to me was the me of my years as a young girl, born inside my heart on the day I made that oath. That's right. She was my only ally. I've never had like a fucking meeting with my younger self. What the fuck? I want this to happen, especially if this like gets my hopes up or something. When things got difficult and I felt like I was about to get crushed by it all, she would always quietly appear and support me. When I ran into roadblocks and despaired, she would always appear and support me. When I grew up and the memories of my childhood years had faded, I also started to forget my conversations with her. Okay, but when you say it, it does feel like... It feels more like kind of just, you know... It does feel like high hopes, but... Yeah, I mean... I'll fall back on what I said. On that day, when I had been overcome with sadness, wondering why I was even alive, you appeared from inside me and lent me your strength. This isn't magic, by the way, guys. Like, I've definitely heard stories where people kind of, quote-unquote, talk with themselves. I think a more regular form of this is like a journal, where they write out their thoughts and they can read it back. It can be, you know, a form of trying to raise their hopes, to remind themselves of their goals and aspirations. For a time, I truly believed that my life had no purpose other than to be looked down upon by Nissan. It's painful just remembering those days. They're a wound, a crack inside my heart. She taught me how to sew that wound. I turned my anger into effort and improved myself, trying to become a person more worthy of the headship than Kraus was, trying to triumph over him by making Father accept me. It was my perfect revenge. I was vaguely aware that a woman couldn't possibly become the family head, but I thought that maybe, if I could prove myself valuable enough to overturn that premise, then surely even Father would select me to be his successor. If that happened, then I'd be able to have the greatest and most perfect revenge against Nissan, who always acted like his succession to the headship was completely inevitable.
そうすれば私たちの心の傷は癒えるの。その日まで頑張ろうって誓い合ったわ。なのに、あなたはその約束を破るの？クズ、育児なし。
Damn, alright.
へそかんで死んじゃえば？
Okay. Even though she looked like me as a kid, she was still another me. Her tongue was sharp because it was mine.
自分に言われても腹が立つわね。
Well, yeah, let that be a little bit of a lesson.
そこまでボロクソに言われる筋合いはないわ。ならばその怒りを勉強に費やしましょうよ。怒りを力に変えるのが私の魔法。この力で何度もあなたの窮地を救い、あなたはなせないはずのことを成し遂げてきた。
Yeah, don't say magic, please.
私の魔法がある限り。
Yeah, don't say that,
あなた
please.
にできないことなどありはしないわ。
It's not magic, it's just...
そうね。
It's just your big brain.
怒りはいつも私の原動力だったわ。いつからそれを忘れてしまったのかしら。私を思い出せたなら、あの魔法の力は再び私たちのもの。さあ、 その怒りを力に変えて、もっともっと勉強に励みましょう。きっと私たちにはまだまだ勉強が足りないのよ。大学院に進んでもっといっぱい勉強して優れた成績を出してクラウスを追い詰めてやりましょう。
And that actually does end up working out because, again, as we found out in episode 1, Ava played her cards really well. She actually got into a position where she got to keep her family name. She got to bring Hideyoshi over instead of leaving the family. And she got the jump on Kraus by having a kid first.
あいつなんでもなさそうな顔してるけど、きっと心は相当追い詰められてるわ。早く身の程を思い知って死んじゃえばいいのに。
Okay, that's a little bit too evil.
そうすれば
It's going a little
私
far.
たちが当主になれる。ルドルフは辞退してくれるわ。あの子は私には逆らえないもの。よして、もうこれ以上勉強してもお父様は私を認めてくれないのよ。
I think the real thing that you got to focus on here is focusing on yourself. Don't do it for him. Don't do it for Kraus. Do it for yourself and then show them the results at the end
ど
of
う
it
し
all.
て？お父様は私に女らしくしろと言っているのよ。私がどれだけ頑張ろうと女である限り、たとえ私が兄さんより先に生まれていたとしても私に当主を譲ることはないのよ。私がどれだけ努力を重ねようとも私は女以上の何者にもなれない。認められない。何の努力もしない兄さんを超えられない。永遠に見下され続ける。お父様もクラウスも最低の男尊主義者だわ。早く死んじゃえばいいのに。
Again, a bit evil, but I will agree that, yeah, they are very, would sexist be the term to be using here? The gender inequality is very high. She cursed them for my sake. Words that I couldn't say so easily, she said for me. Even though I understand that she's just another part of myself inside of me, I feel like she's the only ally I have who can sympathize with me. However, while sympathy might do a lot to calm my heart, it won't do anything to improve my current situation. In the end, she can only console me for however long it takes me to be dejected by reality, before I can finally accept it.
ありがとう。もう結構よ。こうとなったらお父様が驚くような淑女になってやるわ。兄さんなんかとは比べ物にならない立派な男を探して。
And then turn the tables, right?
ダメ、そんなの。
She rejected my timid thoughts. I understand. Because she is me, I understand.
お父様は少なくとも今は女に当主を継がせないと言っている。でもそれすらも所詮はお父様が決めたルールでしかないの。
Yeah, things
お
can
父
change.
様が決めた以上、それを破棄できるのもお父様。人の気持ちなど浜のマサゴが尽きるよりはるかに早く変わるわ。クラウスが愚鈍な男であることは私たちが立証しなくてもやがてお父様も理解する。その時男女の境のくだらない垣根はそれを設けたお父様によって取り払われるの。その日は必ず来るわ。
I mean, you can kind of believe this too, because, yeah, things do change in a way that allow, you know, how things are in the present. With Ava still being around.
どうして必ずなんて言え
Sitting
る
in
の？
rank number 2 at the fucking dinner table and shit.
それが私の魔法だから。
No, that's just fucking optimism. That's not magic. Optimism and pessimism aren't magic. Those are just... That's how your brain works.
あな
That's
た
how
が
you
信じて
think.
くれさえすればこの魔法は必ず奇跡を呼ぶの。
Oh, don't say miracle either.
私の魔法の源はあなたの信じる心だけ。
If I use this magic, then surely I'll never have to doubt until the day I die that I will eventually become the head. But I don't know if that's the right thing for Ushiromiya Ava. Maybe I should aim to become the kind of lady that father wants, someone who can proudly participate in high society. And if I am reborn, maybe father will change his opinion of me. Maybe I can find my own lifestyle, just as Nissan has found his. And anyway, I just can't imagine my stubborn father choosing a woman like me as the head, especially if it means skipping over Kraus.
信じないの？あのね、
I mean, if something major happens, like Kraus dying,
私は女で子を産むことができるわ。そして兄さんには 未だ
Here we
縁談も
go.
ない。
Here we
もし
go.
兄さんに子供ができず、私だけが子供を産めたなら、兄さんの次の当主は私の子供ということになるでしょ？
I think that according to the ranking, it would still go to Rudolph next, right?
それはつまり、私が兄さんから当主の
But
座を
George
奪
would
う
be
の
up
と
there.
同じ意味に
George
ならな
would
いか
be
しら。
like pretty high up.
本気で言ってるの？ええ、本気よ。少女時代からの決意を捨てるのは確かにとても悲しいこと。私の少女時代そのものであるあなたを裏切るのは、でも、それが一番現実的なのよ。
In that moment, my body changed, and I was no longer myself from back then, but as I am now, a wife and a mother. Yes, this is a dream. Even so, she still possessed the same ambition and desire as always, and she argued back with her expression displaying clear displeasure at this change.
夢を捨てるの？
I was gonna say,
そし
like,
て私も捨てるの？
this inner self of hers, what if she has like a multiple personality disorder thing going on, you
私
know?
も大人になって、あなたと決別する日が来たということよ。
I haven't necessarily seen signs of that ever, but we should be on the lookout, you know?
そうね。エヴァはもう大人になったわ。魔法の使い方さえ忘れてしまった。今は一児の母。
Wait, what?
自ら夢を叶える魔法を忘れ去って、その夢を息子に押し付けている。自ら
We're
の
kind of
人
jumping
生を
forward here,
お
aren't
父
we?
様やクラウスによってめちゃくちゃにされたくせに、あなたも自らの夢を息子に押し付けてめちゃくちゃにしようとしているの。それが大人というものなの？ジョージはどこに出しても恥ずかしくない自慢の息子よ。私には叶えられなかった夢をジョージなら叶えられるかもしれない。ジェシカなんて成績も貧困も不良じゃない。それに女なのよ。ジェシカさえ辞退してくれればジョージが後継ぎになることだって。
Again, I do think that Rudolph still has like some pretty high standing here. But then again, I could be wrong. I'd have to look back on that. I think episode 1 actually listed it all out, so if I am curious, I could always go back there. Even saying it was painful. Am I just forcing my own regrets onto George? It's not like I have any right to look on Jessica with scorn. Wasn't I just horrible for hitting her with the same words that had caused me so much suffering? I understand. I understand, do you? The desire to triumph over my brother is part of my own personal revenge. I can't use George for that, but you kinda are.
私自らが復讐するわ。ルドルフとローザを味方に兄さんから金をせしめようという計画があるの。きっと一矢報いることができるわ。何しろ兄さんがお父様の資産をつまみ食いしているのは確かなんだから。
Yeah, that's what everybody's thinking.
つまんない計画。そんなのさっさとやめて泣き寝入りでもしちゃえば？
Yeah, her younger self is fucking ruthless.
私たちは後ろ宮家の当主になるの。その夢をごまかさないで。だから絶対に叶えられると私を信じて。私の魔法を信じて。信じたら
Again, it's not magic.
魔法は力を持つのかしら。
Unless there is something else going on here that's being implied.
私の魔法はどんな願いも必ず叶えるの。
And by something else, I mean just insanity.
信じるわ。信じるから。その魔法で奇跡を起こして。そうでなくちゃ私の心の傷は永久に癒されない。ならよく聞いて。
Oh, I'm listening.
私の魔法の言葉。
Yeah, spew your
そして
nonsense.
それを理解して。謎が解けたなら私たちは後ろ宮家の当主になれるの。
I swear, if she just recites the fucking
だ
epitaph.
から耳を澄ましてよく聞いて。
No, let's hear it. Or is that it? Are we done with this scene? Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home. It really fucking is. Did I just fucking call that shit? You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. I think I kind of called that bullshit right there, didn't I? That's so cool. And by cool, I mean ridiculously predictable.
エヴァ姉さん、
Hello.
そろそろ着くみたいですよ。
Oh, it's almost family conference time, gamers. It's my favorite time of the year. When Kyrie shook her shoulders, Ava jumped and awoke from her doze.
ごめんなさいね。寝ぼけてたわ。
No, you were deep asleep.
驚かせてしまってごめんなさいね。
エヴァおばさん、ぐっすりでしたね。朝はだいぶ早かったんすか？
まあね、恥ずかしいところを見せちゃったわ。ごめんなさい。
眠れるくらい余裕があるのは大したもんだぜ。バートラなんかずっと落ちるーったの、沈むーったの。
Well, yeah, that's just regular battle. I'm actually very surprised that he's pretty calm and collected right now.
全く退屈しないやつだぜ。
うるせえな。人間誰しも苦手の一つや二つくらいあるもんだぜ。
True that. I fucking hate bees. Yeah, if bees come at me, like it's over. Like I'm outing myself, guys. Like it's so Jover. Battler and Jessica came in messing around. Rudolph also made a face as if asking, "Are you okay?"
しっかりしろよ。親父たちの顔を見れば眠気もすっ飛ぶさ。せいぜいお互い頑張ろうぜ。
そうね。特に今年はしっかりしないとね。
I mean, you know, not a bad idea to get a little bit of rest.
だな。
Nothing like a little cat nap.
お互いケツの穴を引き締めてかかろうぜ。
That is one way of saying that. Rudolph said these strict words in a small voice that only Ava could hear. Failure would not be tolerated in this year's family conference. All of their companies were hanging in the balance, which we got to, you know, learn a little bit about Rudolph's situation in episode 2. And Hideyoshi's maybe in episode 1, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, we have a little bit of an idea as to what they all have kind of going on. They need money, and they need it now. Even Rudolph's face looked a little tense. Ava's expression probably looked tense as well.
母さん、荷物を持つよ。甲板に上がろう。
ありがとう。ジョージは本当に気が利くわね。
どうして急にお礼なんか。
Oh, because she was dreaming of you, George. Somewhat.
エヴァ、ジョージ、到着やで。荷物をまとめるんや。
Oh, hello, Maria.
こらマリア、
Oh, hello, Rosa.
転ぶから走るのをやめなさい。
Back to the beginning we are. It seemed Maria was already getting excited. She ran circles around Hideyoshi, escaping from Rosa, who was trying to catch her. You good? You good there, Ava?
どうしたの母さん。具合悪いの？
Was she thinking about the
Georgie.
fucking riddle?
荷物を持って先に行ってなさい。母さんは貧血だろ。わしが肩を貸すわ。
そう、わかったよ。先に行ってるよ。
Something odd in Ava's expression told Hideyoshi that it hadn't been a pleasant awakening, so he made George go on ahead. Rudolph's family and Rosa's family also went up onto the deck, leaving only Ava and Hideyoshi inside the boat. Ava had a vague expression on her face, as though she still hadn't been able to escape from her daydream.
どないしたんや。神妙な顔して。
私、ジョージを自分の復讐の道具にしてたんじゃないかしら。
I would argue, yes, somewhat.
私の兄さんに対する子供じみた敵対心のせいで、
I
あの
mean,
子の人生を自分のおもちゃにしてしまってはいないかしら。
episode 2 actually kind of proves that slightly because he was supposed to be meeting some gal or whatever from a family. Obviously, that didn't work out, but I'm sure that was all set up for, you know, some sort of benefit that these two would get.
ああ、私はなんてことを。
そんなことあらへん。ジョージはどこに出しても恥ずかしゅうないわしらの自慢の息子や。仮にエヴァの思惑が多少混じっとったとしても、結果オーライっちゅうもんやないか。エヴァはな、もう悪うない。
Oh, I wonder.
むしろジョージは厳しくしつけてくれたと感謝しとるくらいやで。
本当に。
I mean, George did grow up to
Honto.
at least seem pretty
ジョージは
well.
私のこと
He's
嫌
got a
な
good-
母さんだと思ってないかしら。
He's got a good head on his shoulders, I want to say.
そんなこと。
And he has really good
ただの一
goals.
度も口にしたことあらへんで。エヴァの杞憂や。
秀吉様、
Oh, hey, Kumasawa, what's going on?
皆様、下船なさっておりますよ。
Oh shit, we're already here. We're just literally here.
おや、何か落とし物ですか？ お手伝いしましょうか？
Kumasawa had come to check on them, when they hadn't gone up to the deck. Hideyoshi hid Ava behind his back so that her expression wouldn't be seen.
ああ、すまんな。ちょっとわしのネクタイピンがいかれてもうてな。もう大丈夫や。すぐ行くで。外で待っててや。
そうですか。
You get the idea, Hikumasawa?
表でお待ちいたしております。
Yeah. Even though she didn't really understand, I wonder, Kumasawa realized that something had come up and disappeared so that she didn't trouble them further. Yeah, I think she understood well enough there. If they stayed here any longer, they would probably make everyone else worry too.
そろそろ行こうか。ジョージたちを心配させてまうで。
私、本当にジョージに恨まれてない。
ああ、恨まれてなんかあらへん。むしろ感謝しとるぞ。悪い夢でうなされたんか、また。
Hideyoshi knew that Ava was often tormented by nightmares, and they always grew more marked on the days leading up to the family conference. Hideyoshi knew that Ava's relationship with Kraus was still full of antagonism to the point of being traumatic, and that she still couldn't let go of the feelings that she had had as a child, excuse me. Yeah, that shit will stick with you. I mean, there's gotta be some reasons why these, like, the screws are loose in the siblings' heads for, you know, some reasons. Yeah, stop being all cute with each other. Come on, let's get a move on.
みんな待たせてるで。
ごめんなさい。ん？さっきあなたのタバコの煙のこと怒鳴ってごめんなさい。
Wait, what?
普段ならそんなことで謝らんくせに。
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that did happen. I was like, huh? Did I miss something? But okay, yeah, I got you.
悪い夢見た
That was
後
at
の
the
お前は気弱でいかん。
the very end of the previous
気
video.
にするなや。お前に煙が届いていることを気づかんかったわしが悪いんや。
私のこと嫌いになった？
I don't think he has.
ならんならん。
From the bits and pieces I've seen.
この程度で嫌いなんて言うとったら3日もたんで。ささ、たった折れるで。
I do like Hideyoshi, you know.
秀吉様、エヴァ様。
Hey, Goda. Like, I don't really respect Hideyoshi's, like, decision-making at times. Or, I guess, his love interest in Ava here, necessarily. But, no, I do think he's a pretty cool guy. And, you know, it was kind of disappointing to see him offed, you know, two episodes. Well, I guess in the first episode, he made it a little further. But in the second, he was gone early.
大丈夫ですか？お体が優れませんか？
This time, it was Goda. It looked like they had kept everyone waiting too long after all. Well, yeah, they just went into like a whole-ass speech with one another. Even Ava had to stand up without grumbling now. She had to stop forcing her bad mood onto her husband and causing him any more trouble. Because that wasn't something a good wife would do.
大丈夫ですか？体調が気になられるようでしたら、南條先生をお呼びしましょうか。
Oh, not
あり
necessary.
がとう。ちょっと貧血気味でね。もう大丈夫よ。
婦人病中やっちゃ。
Okay, don't say that.
気にせんといてや。
Yeah, don't say that, Hideyoshi.
もうそんなの人に言わないでよ。恥ずかしいわ。
おお、すまん。
Ava elbowed Hideyoshi in the gut. You know, what can you say? You know, sometimes guys say stupid shit and a little bit too much, but, you know, again, Hideyoshi, I think he means well. He's just messing around. By that time, her normal expression had returned, which allowed Hideyoshi to relax a little. Again, I still like him, you know? He's a little dumb, and that's okay. That is all right. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up there. I actually kind of lost track of time on this episode, or this video here, but no, we'll wrap it up there. It is getting a little later. Not that 10 p.m. is necessarily late, but I'm cool with ending it there. No, neat little session here that gave me a different interpretation on Ava, which I didn't know I needed, but I'll accept. And I don't know if there's necessarily a pattern beginning here with Umineko, where the first episode didn't necessarily follow any of the siblings. The second episode put a spotlight on Rosa. The spotlight seems to be now turning to Ava, which kind of sucks ass in my opinion, but that sort of seems to be the case. I don't know if you can argue that the first episode had like a spotlight on really anybody. It was kind of up in the air. We didn't really explore anybody's past necessarily, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a pattern. This could just be a little bit of, helpful storytelling for the information we need going forward. I don't know. But I guess we'll just continue to trek along and see whatever happens. But thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.